Number 10. Murder Conspiracy. In January 2018, a young woman was found mauled to death, and investigators believe the suspects could be her two pit bulls. 22-year-old Bethany Stevens was found naked and dismembered in the woods in Goochland, Virginia. When the body was found, her dogs were also at the scene, eating at her rib cage. The gruesome image led law enforcement to believe the two pups were responsible for her death, but locals thought a homicidal maniac could be on the loose since Bethany was found with no clothes on. Those close to Stevens insisted the dogs Pac-Man and Tonka would never have hurt her. When an autopsy was conducted on the woman, they found no evidence of strangulation or sexual assault. Her phone was also found broken in half and covered in bite marks, but those who knew the dogs personally still refused to believe they could be the cause of the woman's death. Stevens was an experienced dog trainer, and this tragic incident sparked fears in the community that she might have been attacked by a much larger predator like a coyote or bear. Further investigation found human hair in the feces of both dogs, and it was concluded that they did in fact kill their owner. Sadly, the dogs were euthanized shortly after being caught. Number 9. Pitbull beheads owner. A dog is usually thought to be man's best friend, but sometimes they can be man's worst nightmare. In Karnataka, India, a man reportedly purchased a pitbull for the price of $14,000. Little did he know the same dog would later end his life. In May 2017, this unnamed man was found dead in a pool of his own blood. The dog was found near the body, completely red and soaked in blood too. Not only was the man dead, but his head was completely decapitated from his torso. Pit bulls have been bred for centuries to be hyper-aggressive, but nowadays people own these dogs hoping to tame the beast within them. And most of the time, pit bulls can be quite mild-tempered animals, kind if trained correctly and given the right amount of love and affection. But cases like this often fuel the stereotype that this breed is dangerous and out of control. We're unsure exactly what caused this pit bull to attack its owner, but there is a substantial amount of evidence to support this dog was ultimately responsible for the man's death. Number 8. Beast. A 10-year-old boy named Jack Liss from Caerphilly, South Wales was mauled to death by a dog while playing with his friend after school a few months ago in June of 2022. 19-year-old Brandon Hayden assumed responsibility for the large bully dog after seeing an ad for it on Facebook. It said the pup was free, but it was just not good around other dogs. Hayden had a limited amount of space in his home and asked his friend, 29-year-old Amy Salter, to keep the dog named Beast at her place for the time being. Hayden and Salter only owned the animal for 4 days before the incident went down. Before the young boy's attack, there were multiple other cases where Beast was aggressive towards other people and dogs. Closed-circuit television footage showed him jumping and biting someone walking by, and he also lunged at scared children while Hayden tried his best to hold him back. After the little boy was mauled, Hayden was put in jail for 4 years, while Salter was given 3 years. The boy's mother, Emma Whitfield, did not think these sentences went far enough, though, and even claimed Salter laughed as the dog lunged at people and kids. Number 7. Euthanized. 2 unregistered pit bulls snuck into their neighbor's backyard and supposedly attacked and killed the family's 3-year-old son. The pups also severely injured the boy's mother. In February 2021, just a month before the deadly incident, the family, who was originally from Pakistan, moved from Brooklyn to New Jersey. The young boy's father worked extremely hard for his family and had saved just enough money to move and buy them the tiny house. Unfortunately for them, they moved right next door to neighbors with extremely aggressive dogs. Multiple reports from other neighbors in the community stated that the dogs had bitten people all around the area, and one neighbor even said he tries to avoid walking near the house to not put himself in unnecessary danger. The toddler and his mother were just playing in their backyard that Tuesday evening when the dogs somehow got out of their fence and into the yard. The 2 canines immediately went after them, and when officers showed up on the scene, the dogs were shot in an attempt to save the family. The boy was airlifted to the hospital where he later passed away, and the mother was also hospitalized with serious injuries. Authorities did not mention the names of these victims, but hopefully the mother has made a recovery since that tragic day. Do you think pit bulls get a bad rap because their owners don't train them correctly, or because the breed itself is just too wildly unpredictable? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, hit that subscribe button. Number 6. Dog kills homeless man. On the streets of South Austin, Texas, a dog attacked and killed a homeless man, according to officials from Austin-Travis County Emergency Medical Services and reports from the Austin Police. On May 14, 2022, medics were called at 2 a.m. to East Bend White Boulevard in South Austin after reports of a body being found. found. The man was surprisingly still alive when medical professionals arrived at the scene, but he was sadly pronounced dead just a short time later. It's unknown exactly what prompted this attack, and the name of the victim was never released to the public. The man was confirmed by investigators to be homeless, and they were working to locate his family to inform them of the unfortunate incident. Not much else is known about the case, and it was not stated if the dog was ever found. It's a sad thought, but the dog may have belonged to the homeless man himself. But now that he's passed, it can no longer be confirmed. Dogs are not typically aggressive unless provoked, but it's hard to say what happened in this case. Number 5, my hero. A woman and her 2-year-old Belgian Malinois named Eva were walking along the Trinity River in Northern California when a mountain lion came out of nowhere and set its sight on. The lion lunged at Erin Wilson, the dog's owner, and scratched her. When Wilson called out for Eva to help her, the dog quickly came running. Eva tried to defend her mom and tried to get the big cat to leave her alone. Wilson said that the dog, quote, hit that cat really hard, and the lion and Eva fought shortly until the cougar bit down hard on the canine's head. Thankfully, Wilson and another woman walking nearby forced the animal to leave by using some pepper spray that they had on hand. Eva had given the woman just enough time to act quickly and save their lives. The dog sadly suffered skull fractures and other injuries after bravely defending her owner. Shortly after the attack, it began having seizures. She was rushed to the nearest veterinary hospital, but her condition worsened, and Wilson said, quote, she just never woke up, end quote. The heroic dog, Eva, gave her life in order to save Wilson, and no matter how terrible some of these stories are, it's good to remember there are instances when these loyal companions act selflessly to save their owners from danger. Number 4, when stray dogs attack. In India during the summer of this year, 2 young boys while playing in the street were mauled by a pack of stray dogs. In the city of Bengaluru, India, stray dogs are a huge problem. In a report from the Bruhat, Bengaluru, Mahananagar, Police, the BBMT from 2019, it was estimated that there were a little over 3 million stray dogs in the city. Dog catching is a huge challenge for officials, and 51% of the stray population are not neutered, making the issue increasingly worse as time goes on. In June 2022, 2 children, 3-year-old B. Ravi Kumar and 5-year-old H. Sura, were playing outside of a construction site when a pack of 7 to 8 wild dogs chasing each other came running around onto the road. Without being provoked, one of the dogs bit Ravi, and after seeing him getting attacked, Surya started to run towards their house. Perhaps thinking it was some type of game, another dog chased Surya and bit his leg while he tried to get away. The other dogs continued to pounce on Ravi and bite until a woman named Chandramama nearby rushed over to the boys to chase the strays away. After the dogs were no longer a threat, the woman and her husband immediately rushed both of the young boys to Victoria Hospital to get medical attention. Luckily, both of the children survived the attack and were treated for their injuries thanks to the help of some good Samaritans. Number 3, little dogs versus big dog. In April 2022, a shocking video was shared with News4Jax of a young boy trying to protect his 2 small dogs from his neighbor's large dog that apparently gotten out of its fence. The incident happened on Crescent Street in Murray Hill, a neighborhood in Jacksonville, Florida. The young boy, Jamil George, was walking his chihuahuas, Sammy and Lily, in his front yard when he noticed the big dog next door poke his head out of their gate. The boy could basically sense what was about to happen next and tried to bring his animals back into the house, but it was already too late. Within seconds, the larger dog had escaped and gone after one of the chihuahuas. Jamil's mother, Stacy, was inside the house when the fight started and could hear the screams and yelps of her pets. She ran outside to try and help the situation in any way she could. Sammy took off across the street to escape the bigger dog that was right behind him. Lily started to chase the dog, which then turned around to attack her instead. Luckily, none of the animals were injured during this attempted fight, and they were able to get the neighbor's dog back behind the fence where it belonged. The George family explained in an interview that they were not pressing charges and planned to work it out peacefully to figure out a way to stop something like this from ever happening again. Number 2, scalped. A police dog going after a suspected shoplifter went way too far and ended up biting the scalp off a woman. In December 2020, 24-year-old Tamika Bates was hiding from the police in Brentwood, California, after she and some friends allegedly made off with nearly $10,000 worth of stolen items from Ulta Beauty Supply. Officers were searching for the suspects with their police dog when they noticed Bates laying in a group of bushes. Apparently, the police ordered the dog to attack, and it went after the suspect without hesitation. The dog then latched onto Bates' skull and quite literally scalped her. Blood and internal tissue were visible after the incident, and the girl yelled out, "My whole brain is bleeding." Even though Bates did actually participate in shoplifting at the store, her attorneys pointed out that officers purposely sent the attack dog on her while she was unarmed without giving her any reasonable opportunity to surrender. She ultimately pleaded guilty to grand theft and spent a total of 120 days in jail for her crimes. But she has now filed a lawsuit civilly against against the city that could end up giving her millions of dollars for her suffering. Number 1 Police Dog Takedown. A man facing felony charges linked to running from the police, carjacking, and domestic violence was ultimately taken down by a well-trained police dog on October 20th, 2021. In National City, California, officers were involved in a high-speed chase with this criminal. They tried to pull over the driver at 2 p.m. because they matched his vehicle to a car listed in the description of a domestic violence case that had happened on October 7th. Instead of pulling off to the side of the road and following police orders, he just kept on driving. He sped through the streets of the city and continued through Chula Vista and San Diego before finally making his way back to National City. Skyfox, a news helicopter, captured the whole chase from above, which showed the man's white sedan flying in and out of traffic, driving dangerously fast through residential neighborhoods and ignoring stop signs and traffic lights. Eventually, his car became blocked by another vehicle near the driveway of a parking lot off 23rd and B Streets, and the chase came to a halt. The driver then jumped out of his sedan and started running in an attempt to escape, but a police dog was released by officers. The canine chased and tackled the man to the ground almost instantly, and after he was pinned, they pulled the dog off him and placed him under arrest. Hopefully, they gave that dog a big treat after his heroic act of service and told him what a good boy he is. Would you rather have a big dog, or are you more of a small dog kind of person? Let us know in the comments below. And also, what's your dog's name? Drop it in the comments below too, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching today, and we'll see you next time on The Bad Badger.